now and go through this presentation. This is just a high-level overview just to make you aware, and it is not an in-depth presentation. If you want something more in-depth, we could set up something on a personal basis later on. The main theme of our application is simple in the field. I'm going to show you how easy it is to be able to clock in and out and to manage data in the field, and very powerful in the office because this will integrate with your accounting application to process and to make your payroll much easier. Some of the problems that AboutTime will help solve, obviously, this might look familiar to you if you're using paper time cards. What you have here is time that is written in by a foreman or an employee. You always have time rounded here. You have things scribbled out. You have difficulty getting the information into the office on a weekly basis so you can run your payroll. Also, out there in the field, you really don't know who you're going to trust, who's going to put in the accurate information. And then back at the home office for your payroll people who are processing payroll, you have piles of paperwork. You have all of these time cards. You have manual entry. This takes up time and it costs money. The risk that you have here is obviously with your labor costs. 60% of a typical construction company's labor costs are in payroll processing and in gathering information from the field. The solution obviously is AboutTime. This is just a real brief overview here of how AboutTime works. We have the main application here called Control Center, which will be installed on a server or a workstation back at the home office. We have the mobile devices out here. We have your accounting that will be also out here on a server. The information is brought from your accounting into AboutTime, employees, cost codes and jobs, and also in some cases cost code or task budgets, and also equipment can be brought in from your accounting with a nice smooth direct integration, live integration to AboutTime, sent out to the devices in the field. We're going to collect everything in real time. It's going to be delivered back to the office through a data plan, through an internet connection. We can track, as I mentioned before, labor budgets and equipment, which I'm going to show you in just a minute here. We can also capture documents, so we can digitize and put documents into the application and send it out to the supervisors in the field and have them complete the data in the field in a timely manner and send it back to the home office. And I'll show you in a minute how this could work for you. We use all of the popular mobile devices. We do not lock you into any one specific technology. The advantage to this is that it will run anytime, anywhere, because you're using our apps here that you download from the specific websites, app sites. You can track the data out in the field and keep it on these devices up to 15 days if needed before you send it back to the home office. Very easy to use. We also have a web clock that's available through a web browser. You can clock in and out using the web clock as well as the devices out in the field with our app installed. We have two main ways of clocking in and out. The traditional method would be using a PIN code, a 4 or 5 digit PIN code, something unique to that employee or something unique to a supervisor or a foreman. Biometrics is also important, especially for your big jobs where you have many people that you need to clock in and out very quickly. We have customers using this. For example, we have a drywall company down in Texas that can clock in 75 people, totally accurate, 100% accurate, within 5 minutes. It works on a Windows machine only at this time and plugs into a USB port. But that's something that could be used with AboutTime for clocking in many people in a short period of time. This is what our app looks like when an employee clocks in, date and a time, the in and out, the job will be displayed down here. A supervisor or foreman can clock in a crew. The crew members are chosen beforehand to work with this crew leader for this specific job out there in the field so that all of your employees do not show up in this list. We can restrict. which people will be assigned to what jobs. Then the cost codes will appear. You can pick the cost code and go ahead and do the specific task that is required. GPS is also available with our system. We will let you know every time somebody touches a device where they were when that happened. Were they really at the job site? Or were they out somewhere else? Maybe at a coffee shop, or maybe they were still at home. They decided they wanted to clock in. This information is sent back to the office immediately as it happens, and also it will give you a roll call report and let you know who is clocked in where and what they are doing for that day. We can do approvals if your workflow requires. We could do approvals in the field. We can have a supervisor or a manager with their finger put a signature on these electronic devices, approve the time and the cost codes, the labor work for that day, send it back to the home office, and you have an accurate record of what took place at the job site. We also have an after-the-fact solution. We can either run it real time or you can do it after the fact, where we have a digital timesheet inside our application. You can add the jobs and the employee information. You can add the task and the total hours worked. You can do after the fact time entry if your workflow so desires. Edits and approvals could also be made at that point. This is a very powerful piece of our application. We can pull budgeted man hours and even production units, if you track production units, from your accounting applications over into AboutTime. We're going to compare the units and the budgeted hours against worked or accrued hours and units. You're going to see out there on the mobile devices the different cost codes or tasks, how many hours you have budgeted, how many hours accrued, and then this information shows up on your mobile devices so that your managers will be able to see this and view every day in real time what is happening out there at the job site, allowing you to make proper decisions to make sure that you stay within budget. The name of the job up here, your tasks, budgeted and accrued hours worked or units, and a nice summary every day, budgeted hours, accrued hours, hours remaining, and percent of that job now completed. Very, very powerful information that you normally do not get until you run your payroll, which in many cases can be too late. This is going to save you a lot of time and a lot of money by being able to clock in accurately, keeping track of accurate cost codes, and doing a labor budget so that you can stay within budget on your jobs. This is from one of our current customers, Martin & Zombeck, where they are saving close to $200,000 on a job just by knowing what your average labor rate was and the accuracy of the time being imported. You could see similar savings with your company as well. We can also track equipment, either have that piece of equipment assigned to a cost code, or we can assign that specific asset to an employee and assign it to a job. You would be able to view out there in the field which assets have been assigned to what jobs. So you'll be able to see exactly what is supposed to be at each job site. You can track this either by cost code, by hours worked, or you can just assign it to a job site. We can capture real-time information out there in the field in regards to photos and also notes so that your people can enter information and take a photo. The photo is always attached to a job. It is always sent back to the home office immediately as it happens, as well as the job notes. At the end of the day, when your employees clock out, you can ask them certain yes or no questions. A typical question would be, did you get hurt on the job today? This will save you a lot of money by being able to manage your workers' compensation issues. You ask them any questions you want at the end of the day and how many you want. Powerful email alerts whenever certain things happen within the system. If someone is approaching overtime based on your overtime rules, we will alert your key management people and let them know. We have a live weather dashboard that will let you know when certain weather conditions happen out there in the field. allowing you to make proper decisions in regards to your job site out in the field. Going back to the budget that I just talked about, it will alert you and let you know if you're approaching 100% of that budget. If someone clocked in outside of the job site, it will let you know. If a field note came in or a photo came in, it will also instantly let you know and alert you that that has happened. Just a quick overview of the weather dashboard. It is real live weather data updated as recently as every minute. You have your job site over here, the region and the city, temperature, humidity, wind speed, visibility, and conditions. You can set up thresholds to let you know when certain weather events happen and then be alerted. Your key management people can be alerted as to those events when they take place. We can capture real live documents inside AboutTime, virtually any document, any form that you are currently using out there in the field. We can put it into AboutTime, and we can build templates for these forms. It can be labor report, it can be a work order, it could be a safety report, inspections, anything along these lines. These can be sent out to the supervisors in the field where they can complete them on their mobile devices, send them back to the home office, and also send them out to specific individuals in a PDF format as needed. I'm going to now get into the actual application and show you how you can clock in and out. What I have here is my iPad available, and I'm going to show you through a simulation here how we can do this. The name of the company will be up here. There are a number of workflows that we can set up for you. I'm not going to show you all of them at this time, and just because of the time that we have available for this presentation. But I'm going to show you real quickly how an employee can clock in and out, and then how a foreman or a supervisor can clock in a crew. We enter a simple 4 or 5-digit number. We have the name of the employee, the date and the time, in and out, and the name of the company down here. If that is not the right company, you notice there's a tab there you can push. All of your active jobs will now come up in a list where if they have the privilege, they can choose the correct job that they're working on. Choose the job, clock in, and then a list of the cost codes. What are they going to be doing during that day? They choose that cost code, clock in, and go to work. Just that quickly and that easily. If you want to track union people, or if you have a special classification for these people, we can set up a custom list as you see here, and the individuals will show up that you have selected that need to be assigned to that specific custom classification. Clock in and go to work. Now, if you need a supervisor to clock in and out, it's very simple. We can clock in the crew. We can select who those crew members are. If they are not on site, you don't want to put a check mark next to their name. You want to clock in. You can again change a location if you need to, and then have them go to work and do whatever task that they need to work for that day or for that specific period of time. You can change cost codes anytime you need to. That's just a quick overview of how this application works. As you can see, there are many other tabs that you can access here. We can see everybody's records. We can do a quick spot check. We can make any edits out there in the field. We can do approvals out there in the field. We can see our cost code budget, our task budgets here in this view here, how many hours budgeted, how many hours worked, how many hours left. So there are a lot of other things that you could do inside AboutTime, which we just don't have the time to show you right now. But I'd be happy to set up another web demo specific to your company and your organization if you would like to, and we can get into more details as to how this could work. So are there any questions at this time? Any concerns that you might have? Anything that we need to address before we close this webinar?
All right. It doesn't look like we have any questions in the question box. If you have one, you can still type type one in while I close out, and we will answer it. But I'd like to thank Carl for presenting today, and I'd like to thank everybody for attending. If you have further questions, call About Time. The number, well, it's not on. Oh, the number is on the screen right
Here.
there.
Number's
It
right
is.
here.
It is. A member of our sales team would be happy to discuss your business and how About Time can work for you. So thank you for attending, and have a good day.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate your time, and hopefully this was informative.